Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job, but it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world, and we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
How is your mental health? Billie Eilish, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Imagine Dragons, Lil Nas X, and so many more feel the same pressures we do. They're joining our host, Carson Daly, for I'm Listening, September 23rd, starting at 6 p.m. right here. Carson and a cast of mental health experts, athletes, musicians, other notables, and you will share stories, insights, and help us all remember that we are not alone. Please join us, because talking about our mental health has the power to save lives. For more, visit imlistening.org.
What's going on, D.C. area? I'm Adam Epstein. Welcome back to another edition of Overtime with AWOD here on 106.7 The Fan. I hope you're having a lovely Saturday so far. If you're on your way to brunch, maybe, going to enjoy yourself some mimosas and, some omelets. Or maybe you're just coming back home from brunch. Or maybe you just had breakfast or whatever you're doing. If you're driving around, stuck in traffic, I'm glad you decided to tune in and hang out with me. I'll be on the air today until 3:35 p.m., and we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to start with the NBA Finals Game 3, 8 p.m. tonight on ABC. And although Phoenix has looked unbeatable, pretty much unguardable on offense, the way the ball movement for them, just pass until they're getting an open shot. Although that has happened, and although Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday combined for about 30% from the field, I have the Milwaukee Bucks winning Game 3 tonight. And I'm ready to AWOD guarantee that. Because here's the thing, is that if Milwaukee can just shoot better from the three-point line, they could win this game. They can turn this series around. And I expect them to do it on their home court in front of their fans in the finals. It's so much hype for them. There in Milwaukee. I do not see them blowing this game, and I think we will be headed to a 2-1 series in the next few days. So that's my prediction for that. Ashley Barty won the Women's Wimbledon final this morning. It was a wild three-setter. Of course, the women only play 3 sets. You need to win 2 of 3, and so this was a wild one in which she defeated Karolina Pliskova to win the championship. And speaking of tennis, the Wimbledon finals are tomorrow, with Novak Djokovic going for the tie of the all-time record of 20 Grand Slams and facing off against Matteo Berrettini, the Italian, who's been superb in Wimbledon so far. And he's going to have a chance to try to dethrone Djokovic, but nobody is hotter in the tennis world than Novak. And he would, if he wins this Grand Slam, he would tie Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. And he has done it way quicker than both of them. He came into the peak of his powers, I would say, after Nadal and Federer passed their prime. So we never really got all 3 of them in the prime at their same time. Federer a few years older than both of them, and then Nadal just a few years older than Djokovic. But Djokovic has done it quicker, he's done it faster, and he's just looked unbeatable this year in particular. He might, do the sweeping and win all 4 majors if he can win this Wimbledon final, and then I would say he's the favorite in the U.S. Open come later in August, later on in the summer. Is anyone else out there excited for the space race? Are you excited for the space race, Linnell? It is tomorrow, 9 a.m. We get to watch Richard Branson go up to the moon, baby. He's going to be floating around out there like an astronaut. I am so excited for that. I'm going to be watching live. I think it's going to be streaming on their website, maybe on Twitch as well. And it's a race between billionaires. You got Richard Branson against Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder. Maybe people say the future owner of the Washington football team, Jeff Bezos. We'll see about that. But I'm going to give you all the info you need for the space race, when to tune in, what's the differences between the 2 flights. One is an hour and a half, one is 10 minutes long, and of course where you can watch them. And kind of how I'm going to get into how this race started. They've both been going at it for about 15 years. Jeff Bezos starting his Blue Origin company in 2004, and Richard Branson starting his, I believe, in 2000. So I'll give you the info on the space race, which is tomorrow, is where you can watch it tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. In the soccer world, we have Copa America. Copa America is Argentina against Brazil. Copa America, of course, is the soccer championship from all the teams in South America, and we have the greatest finals you can get between South American teams. You've got Lionel Messi and Argentina facing off against Neymar and Brazil. Brazil is more talented, but Messi and his magic, he can put the ball in the net from any position on the field, basically, and that gives Argentina a fighting shot. And it'll be interesting to see who they go with in their lineup. If they go with a more attacking squad with Angel Di Maria up top alongside Messi, I think that gives them a chance. But Brazil is very talented. Of course, they've got Neymar, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Richarlison, just to name a few. And so that is at 8 p.m. tonight. And then in the Euro Cups, that's tomorrow. The best teams in Europe playing off in the championship tournament that has gone throughout the month of June. And it is the championship tomorrow at 3 p.m. You have England against Italy. Is the championship coming home to England, where soccer was invented in the 1800s? Or will the Italians, the Azzurri, steal this trophy from them in Wembley, in England, is where the finals will be. So I'll give you guys a full prediction and breakdown of that later on in the show. We are still waiting for the Washington Wizards to announce a new head coach. I am hoping that it is going to be Wes Unseld Jr. now. I wanted it to be Sam Cassell, but it seems that the latest is that he is not in the running anymore for the job. So I think Wes Unseld Jr. is my pick because he is a defensive mastermind. If you've seen what he has done with the Denver Nuggets as the assistant coach there the last 4 or 5 seasons, they've been a top 10 defensive team. Yeah, they're great on offense with Jokic, but on defense, they hustle. They never give up. They're chasing people off the three-point line, and that's something. I mean, Washington needs to upgrade their defense from a D to an A, or a D to. I mean, it's so bad. I would even say it's a double D. That's how bad Washington's defense is this past year. They were giving up about 130 points every single game. Juan Soto and the Nationals play today. They're in action today, but I'm more looking forward to seeing Juan Soto in the Home Run Derby and the All-Star festivities. The Home Run Derby is Monday night. The game is Tuesday. And to see Soto in the Home Run Derby, it'll kind of remind me of what it was like to watch Bryce Harper. Now, that was a different scenario because the All-Star game was in our home park here at Nats Park, just a block away from here. And Bryce, he donned the, the headband with red, white, and blue. And he won it, and it was so spectacular. It was exciting. And then he, said basically, all right, that was my farewell. Goodbye, Washington. And I'll never forgive him for that, for joining our rival, the Philadelphia Phillies. But I'm hoping to get the same kind of feeling here with watching Juan Soto, and hopefully he can take home the glory. And I think it could be a good chance to maybe get his swing right. Get some momentum and finish the season strong. If he's just seeing the ball fly out of the park there in Colorado, I think he can be like, man, I can do this again. I can belt 30 home runs in the end of the season, and get back to where I was last season and the season before that. And hopefully he can get hot to close the season and help the Nats into the playoffs. We're about 500 right now, which really is not bad for the All-Star break, considering what we've dealt with injuries. In the last few years, we have not been even close to this good. If you remember, right, 19-31, the year we won the World Series. Juan Soto has the 4th best odds to win the Home Run Derby. The long shot is Orioles' Trey Mancini, who I'm also rooting for. He's got a great story, making it back into the league after battling cancer. And so really looking forward to one of those guys bringing it back to D.C. The Washington football team is my pick to be the fastest team in the NFC. And then I also had a topic last night on my show, about who would you start if both quarterbacks play throughout the season. Who would you start in a one-game playoff game that you need to win? And I didn't get a chance to take calls on it because I ran out of time yesterday. So I had people tweeting me, how are you going to throw out a Washington football team segment? Now let me call in. I'm dying to talk about the Heineke Hive. Well, if you're dying to call in, let me hear from you now. 1-800-636-1067. I also want to get into the NFL fantasy football and the best running backs in 2021. And I want you guys to tell me where you think Antonio Gibson Washington football team's sophomore running back ranks on that list. I'm Adam Epstein here until 3:35. I got an expert, a soccer expert, Sebastian Salazar of ESPN, joining the show at 3 p.m. My boy Travis Thomas will break down all things around the sports world at 2:30. I'm at AWOD Radio if you want to tweet me throughout the show and get your thoughts read on the Fan. Adam Epstein here till 3:35. Don't go anywhere. Don't change that dial. I'll be right back. Welcome back to 106.7 The Fan.
I'm Doc Rivers, and I'm proud to present a new podcast documentary series called It Was Said Sports, where I guide you through 6 of the most impactful and timeless speeches in sports history. Listen and follow It Was Said Sports, a documentary podcast presentation of Shining City Audio, a C13 Originals, and John Meacham Studio. Available now on Odyssey and wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
How is your mental health? Billie Eilish, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Imagine Dragons, Lil Nas X, and so many more feel the same pressures we do. They're joining our host, Carson Daly, for I'm Listening, September 23rd, starting at 6 p.m. right here. Carson and a cast of mental health experts, athletes, musicians, other notables, and you will share stories, insights, and help us all remember that we are not alone. Please join us, because talking about our mental health has the power to save lives. For more, visit imlistening.org.
I'm Adam Epstein at AWOD Radio on all social media platforms. And if you support the show or are listening but don't have a chance to call in and give me your take, you can always tweet me or hit me up on Instagram with a little DM at AWOD Radio, AWADDRADIO. I'm talking NBA Finals here. Game 3 is actually tomorrow night. They gave them an extra day rest as they're traveling to Milwaukee for Game 3. It'll be Sunday at 8 p.m. And why do I think the Bucks will win Game 3? Well, look, Chris Paul and Devin Booker shot absolutely lights out in Games 1 and 2, while Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton basically missed everything. It was brick city for the Bucks in Games 1 and 2. I think when they return home, simply they will turn around the shooting woes, and that will give them a better chance. Now, Giannis scored 42 points. He scored 42 points in a losing effort in Game 2. So all the people saying Giannis wasn't doing enough, and I was one of them, look at the box score. But I'm also thinking he is so ball dominant. When you talk about how many possessions he has the ball in his hand, for him to have 42 points is great. But 4 assists, I think he needs to have 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 assists. He needs to get his teammates more involved. And how can he do that? Well, so many times he drives to the basket and he kicks it out, and he lacks that final pass to be, he's not a point guard. And he's so ball dominant, sometimes when he kicks it out, he doesn't hit them right in their shooting pocket. And that's so huge because these guys, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, Brook Lopez, they're finding themselves open because Giannis is drawing a double team, but then the pass lacks that efficiency where it's right in the shooting pocket where they can release, and that split second where they have to move and reset their feet allows the defense to then react, and then they have to swing the ball, and then it ends up back into Giannis's hands, and it ends up being a wasted possession. Too many times last game, I saw him draw a double team, and that final pass was missing something. It was not as accurate as it needed to be, and so that is why I do blame Giannis a little bit for the first 2 losses, but I also think it's bigger that Holiday and Middleton have to come to play. Richard Jefferson was on ESPN talking about this, and I thought he had a really interesting take. I want you to hear it right now here on The Fan.
What can the Bucks do to slow down CP and Booker? This is the issue. When CP's at his best, everyone around their team benefits. When Giannis is at his best, like he was, I believe last night, you don't know if everyone benefits around that. And that's what's so confusing about this Bucks team versus this Suns team. Because I'll tell you this, let's say hypothetically that Giannis is the best player in this series. And I only say that because when Chris Paul's at his best, he's affecting his entire team. And so after that, it would go Giannis is number 1, Chris Paul number 2, then you would go Booker, then I would say Ayton. So it goes number 1, Giannis, then the next 3 best players, in my opinion, in this series all belong on the Phoenix Suns. That shows how cohesive their team is. So trying to stop Booker and CP3 is really trying to stop the entire Phoenix Suns team.
So that was Richard Jefferson on ESPN, and I'm absolutely agreeing with him. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Paul, when you look at the top players on, this finals, of course, number 1 is Giannis. He was, former MVP. But I think Chris Paul's 2. I think Devin Booker is 3. That's right there. Now, we thought that going into this series, Chris Middleton would be number 4, and that's why this would be a really good series. But DeAndre Ayton has outplayed him. He's outplayed Drew Holiday. He's outplayed Brook Lopez. And he has dominated in that center position, in a position that is so tough to dominate because people love to play small ball now. But he's taken advantage of that. And the fact that he's been able to get so many rebounds on a team like Milwaukee that is so tall and lengthy, with Giannis, with Brook Lopez, with Bobby Portis, with Chris Middleton. They have so much size, and I mentioned this before. Milwaukee not only needs to win the rebounding battle, but they need to win it by 10 to 15 rebounds because they are a team that prides themselves on second chance opportunities. That's what gets them momentum. That's what gets them, they miss a 3-pointer, they get the rebound, you're damn right they're hitting the second one. So that's a huge thing for Milwaukee, and if they're not dominating on the glass, it shows in the box score and it shows with the final score. And you have to give Chris Paul so much credit because the way he gets his teammates involved, compared to the way Giannis gets his teammates involved, like I was just saying, Chris Paul's passes are so smooth. He gets a guy in motion, cutting to the basket, where all he has to do is catch, take 2 steps, and lay it in. Or you'll be wide open for 3, and it's Jay Crowder, and he's money when he's open from behind the 3-point line. So that's the biggest thing about Chris Paul. And then for Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, he can create his own shot. That he can get his own shot whenever he wants, whether it's a step-back 3, a fadeaway jumper, he takes a guy on and pulls up from the elbow. He has 100 tricks in his bag. That's why people say, he's the closest thing to Kobe, even though a lot of people get pissed about that because he hasn't really won anything yet. But he has so much to his individual offensive game. He can also get to the basket, and that's been a huge part of this series, is that when Devin Booker is getting layups and not having to shoot so many jumpers, his field goal percentage then goes from 45% to 65% when he's getting layups and when he's getting easy, short runners. And then Chris Middleton on the other side for the Bucks, he needs to be able to do that, but he hasn't been able to get fully to the basket. He's having to pull up for these short runners. He's not playing at all like he did in the Hawks series. And so if Chris Middleton can turn it around and have 25 to 30 points, the Milwaukee Bucks should be able to win Game 3 and make this a series. Would you agree with me, Linnell? Chris Middleton is the biggest thing for this Milwaukee Bucks team for them to turn it around.
Definitely. The other guys, not just Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday didn't shoot the ball well last game either.
Yeah.
And I think he shot too much. Chris Middleton's got to be the alpha number 2. That's one thing I saw when watching. Drew Holiday, got to know your role. I think Chris Middleton, even before Drew Holiday got there, he has been the secondary scorer for them. So he's got to get it going for them to have success and get back in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he can. I think a big part of that was playing in Phoenix on the road. It messed with his momentum because he was smoking hot in pretty much the entire Eastern Conference Finals, right? All 3 of those series, he hit the game winner against the Miami Heat. He killed it when this next series, and then he destroyed the Brooklyn Nets, right? So he was huge for Milwaukee throughout these playoffs, and he needs to get it going again, and I really think he can. I don't think he's a guy that is going to have 4 bad games in a row. I think he's better than that. Because it's interesting the fact that he is the highest paid player on the Bucks. But right now, through 2 games, he's probably played the 3rd or 4th best player on the Bucks right now. If you want to chime in on the NBA Finals, 1-800-636-1067. Game 3 Sunday night at 8 p.m. I've got the Milwaukee Bucks winning that and making it a series again, even though I do think Chris Paul is going to be your Finals MVP and the Phoenix Suns are going to be your 2021 NBA champions. But with that being said, I think neither of the teams return to the finals next year. You got the Lakers and LeBron, and you got Brooklyn and KD. Those are my picks for a way too early look into next year, of course, because both teams were struggling with injuries last year, and this whole playoffs was about injuries. And these teams stayed healthy enough to get to the finals, and one of them has an opportunity to bring a championship back to their city, and I think it's going to be the Phoenix Suns. Adam Epstein here till 3:35. Don't go anywhere. Don't change. Welcome back to 106.7 The Fan.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
How is your mental health? Billie Eilish, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Imagine Dragons, Lil Nas X, and so many more feel the same pressures we do. They're joining our host, Carson Daly, for I'm Listening, September 23rd, starting at 6 p.m. right here. Carson and a cast of mental health experts, athletes, musicians, other notables, and you will share stories, insights, and help us all remember that we are not alone. Please join us, because talking about our mental health has the power to save lives. For more, visit imlistening.org.
I'm Adam Epstein. AWOD is what they called me when I was the video producer of the Junkies. And just like many kids in this, in America, born in the 90s, the first sport that I played growing up was soccer. At 4 years old, I was kicking a soccer ball around my house, dribbling it, joined the team. I played for the Barrington Bluefins for a little bit, and then I was bouncing all over the place, Vista Cobras. I played on 100 different teams, and I played up. I played, when I was 4, I played with 5-year-olds, 5 when I played with 6, and so forth until about 13. And soccer was my favorite sport growing up. My favorite thing about it, and, basketball and football fans hopefully will understand this, is that with soccer, you're pretty much playing nonstop for 90 minutes. The ball is rarely kicked out of bounds. If anything, you're defending, but there's so much tactical stuff with that, and you're always trying to counterattack that there's always something going on. It used to kill me, with my friends playing football and going to their games, and it'd be 15, 20 seconds between every play. And with basketball, there was timeouts after timeouts and free throws. You don't understand how much I used to get frustrated as an 8-year-old kid watching someone at the free throw line taking longer than Giannis, right? Just 10, 15 seconds to shoot a damn free throw. It's not even going in. Just shoot it already. But that's why I fell in love with soccer so much, is that, I was a kid that always needed to get my attention grabbed by something, and the ball was always in play. And I was one of those guys that if there was a mad pile of people trying to kick it, I would stay away from that and wait for the ball to come my way and then try to break away myself. But when I first got into soccer, the best player in the world was Ronaldo of Brazil. Not Cristiano Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo of Brazil. He was so strong. He had such a great shot. He could beat any defender, and he took Brazil to glory. Then you had Zinedine Zidane and his beautiful gameplay and touch. Then it was Ronaldinho, who took my eyes with his dribbling skills and his passing. After that, Thierry Henry won France the World Cup, and he was largely known as the best player in the world. I know a lot of people remember those Gillette commercials back in the day. You had Tiger Woods, you had Roger Federer, and Thierry Henry. And those were the big three pretty much for international sports. And that I fell in love with Thierry Henry back then. And then you had Michael Owen of England. You had Pavel Nedved. You had Kaká. You had Deco of Portugal. You had Frank Lampard in England. All the greatest soccer players in the world up until 2007. From that year on, the Ballon d'Or trophy, which is given out to the best soccer player in the world, the best footballer, it is given out every single year, and since 2007, it has been shared largely by just two guys, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano has 5 of those trophies. Messi has 6. Guys, the debate has gone back and forth for the past 15 years. Who is the greatest soccer player of this generation? You got the fans in Argentina. They will argue to the death that it's Messi. You got the fans in Portugal that won't take a day off arguing that it's Ronaldo. The fans of Barcelona will tell you all day, every day, it's Messi. Then you got the fans of Madrid and the fans of Manchester United and now the fans of Juventus claiming that it's Ronaldo. Guys, it has gone back and forth and back and forth. Ronaldo, in my opinion, is more athletic, way more athletic. He can jump out the building. He can jump so high. I think he can run faster in a sprint from one side of the field to the other. I think he can kick the ball a ton stronger than Messi because of his stature. He's so strong. He's like a model. When he takes off his shirt, it's like even guys have to look away. It's incredible. But Messi, on the other end, has way better footwork. You know, he can beat a defender easily. He's got way better touch. He has more individual brilliance. Messi is a magician with the ball, while Ronaldo is a conqueror on the pitch. And a lot of people argued, guys, that in 2016, with Ronaldo's incredible run with Portugal, all the way to the Euro Cup finals, and then in the biggest match of his career, unfortunately, Ronaldo goes down with an injury earlier in the game and has to come out. But he still inspired his Portuguese brothers to go out and get a victory over France, which then ended up winning the next World Cup. It was Ronaldo's first ever international trophy, something Lionel Messi has never accomplished. Guys, that was 5 years ago to this day. And now, 5 years later, on the same day that Ronaldo got his first international trophy with Portugal, and I think put himself above Messi, Messi has a chance to level that playing field. If Argentina can defeat Brazil today at 7 p.m. on FS1 and lead them to victory in Copa America. I think if Messi is able to win, he also has one more Ballon d'Or than Ronaldo, and he's so skilled for his size. I think that's why you have to give him, you have to put him above Ronaldo if he is able to get the trophy today. But it will not be easy going against Brasilia. In goal, they have Ederson. And defense, Alexandro of Juventus is incredible. Thiago Silva is a legend for Barcelona. Marquinhos, an up-and-coming legend. And Danilo plays for Juventus. In the midfield, Casemiro is one of the greatest defensive midfielders in the game. He's reckless with his slide tackles. He's dangerous in the air. And he's so strong, he could take the ball from anyone. And then they've got Fred. He's their playmaker. Up top, they've got Richarlison of Everton. Paqueta of Lyon. And Everton, who plays for Benfica. And then, of course, their superstar, Neymar, up top, going to be the goal scorer. So that is a very difficult squad for Argentina to compete with. But Argentina has some talent as well. In goal, they have Martinez. They've got Molina. Otamendi, who used to play for Manchester City, he's now with Benfica. Tagliafico is a star for Ajax. In the midfield, they got Paredes, Lo Celso from Tottenham. And then up top, it's Martinez, who's fresh off a title with Inter Milan, Gomez of Sevilla, or maybe they'll go with Angel Di Maria, who's a superstar as well. And then they've got Lionel Messi. That is the lineups. And Messi is eyeing his first major silverware with Argentina against his arch rivals, Brazil, in the Copa America final today, Saturday, at 7 p.m. Brazil have won the Copa America 9 times. 5 of the last 9 editions, including 2019. They've also performed well this tournament, probably the best team in the tournament so far, securing 10 points from 4 group stage games, and then 2 narrow victories over Chile and Peru saw them into the finals. But Argentina, the way their midfield is set up, it typically is like a 4-3-3, and they can use those midfielders to push up more and create some kind of attacks for Messi. If Messi gets the ball in the midfield, it's harder for him to take on everyone and get into the box. But if their midfielders play well and then they're feeding Messi around the top of the box, that's where he can use that to his advantage. It's going to be a great matchup, though. I think it probably favors Brazil, but you never know when Messi, he could, if it could be a 0-0 game and Messi just knocks in a free kick from 30 yards out, boom, Argentina's up, and that momentum will carry them to the final. Messi has been the best player in Copa America so far. He's won 4 Man of the Match awards in 6 of Argentina's matches. And Argentina, though, are currently on a 28-year trophy drought. Their last title being 1993 Copa America in Ecuador. And so with 5 goals, Messi has become the second highest all-time goal scorer in all of Latin America. If he can score in the final, he will move just too short of Pele's record of 8 goals in a Copa America. These two sides met in a friendly back in 2019 with Messi scoring the only goal in the match in a narrow 1-0 victory for Argentina. So who am I predicting? What is the scoreline I'm looking at? Guys, I'm predicting a 3-2 final score with Brazil winning in extra time. I think it's going to have all the excitement that you need. I think there's going to be a ton of yellow cards, a ton of free kicks outside of the box. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of Messi magic on that. But in my thing, it's just Argentina might have a slight edge going into this game because of the fact that they've got more talent this year than they have before. They've got a lot of up-and-comers, including Martinez up top, who can bang goals in left or right. He scored in the semifinals for Argentina. However, Brazil, in my opinion, are just the better side. I think they're going to be more dominant as long as their attackers are able to find form in front of goal. That's been Brazil's issue when they lose, is they have a ton of shots, but none of them on target. And because of that, they might dominate the game in possession, but if you can steal a goal from them, you can definitely beat them. I'm telling you guys, I predict this game to be a ton of hard tackles. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be one of those games that you will not want to forget. It's going to be one of those games that you're going to be like, where was I watching Copa America 2021? As we saw Messi go for gold. Messi going to become the greatest soccer player maybe of all time. If not, though, he ends up back in the conversation with Ronaldo, with Ronaldinho, with Kaká, and so forth and so forth. Can Messi become one of the greatest soccer players of all time? He needs a trophy. He's done it all with Barcelona. They've won La Liga back-to-back years. They've won Champions League back-to-back. They had an unbelievable run when it was Suarez, Neymar, and Messi up top. But now he needs to do it with his home team. He needs to do it internationally with Argentina. I think it's going to be a great one, but I do not think he's going to be able to get it done. Brazil is just too strong. They're really great defensively, and I think they're going to be able to counterattack and get a goal with Neymar. Adam Epstein here on 106.7 The Fan until 3:35. If you want to get a professional's opinion, all right, a guy that's an expert in this and his take on Copa America and the Euro Cup, well, you should definitely listen in at 3 p.m. Sebastian Salazar will join the show. I'm Adam Epstein. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to 106.7.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's quick and dirty tips for better writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
The Fan. I'm Adam Epstein, and we were just talking about greatest athletes of all time, and for soccer, can Messi reach that plateau if he's able to get a trophy internationally with Argentina today? But speaking of greatest athletes of all time, the greatest tennis player of all time is going to go down as Novak Djokovic. And that might have upset a lot of people because people say he's a clown. People say he's a bit of a bum. They don't like his attitude. They don't like the way he does interviews. He got himself in trouble with a lot of COVID stuff during the pandemic. Novak Djokovic has done a lot of things outside of the tennis world that have upset some people. But that doesn't mean he's not going to go down as the greatest tennis player of all time. He is going for glory tomorrow. He's going to try to reach 20 Grand Slams, years ahead of Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer in terms of matches played. He's going to surpass them most likely by not one, not two, maybe by 3 or 4 Grand Slams. He's so much more talented than the rest of the field. With Roger Federer basically on one leg with this knee injury, and he went out of Wimbledon, his greatest tournament ever, in 3 straight sets. That tells me that he's very close to the end of his career. I'm not even sure if he'll be fully healthy to play in the U.S. Open. Rafa Nadal is dealing with injuries always as well, and now that Djokovic beat him on a clay surface, I don't see Rafa Nadal ever beating Djokovic again in a Grand Slam. Djokovic is just unbeatable right now. And you got the young guys, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Dominic Thiem, Alexander Zverev, Daniil Medvedev. All of them have so much work to do to reach his level and to reach his consistency on the court. With the gutsy win in the semifinals over Shapovalov, a 3-set victory, 7-6, 7-5, 7-5, Novak Djokovic did more than reach his milestone 30th career Grand Slam final. 7 at Wimbledon. Djokovic also kept his dominance of the last few grass court seasons alive. He's got a win streak in Wimbledon of 20 matches in a row since he fell in the finals to Marin Cilic 3 years ago, in which was an incredible match. But since then, Djokovic has gone 20-0 on grass, 7-0 in Wimbledon to win 2018, 7-0 in 2019 to win it, and again this year. He's the 6th man in the Open era to win 20 or more matches in a row on grass after Bjorn Borg did it with 41 and McEnroe had 23 in a row. Federer's 65 match winning streak on grass started in 2003 and ended in 2008 in the hands of Rafa Nadal. So you kind of see what I'm saying here of how Nadal and Federer, they peaked in the late 2000s. All of the 2010s and now 2020s have been Djokovic, and he will continue it probably until 2026 or 27. You know, he's trying to win his 21st straight on grass against Matteo Berrettini, the Italian, in the Wimbledon final on Sunday. And if he's able to win, Djokovic will tie Federer and Nadal for the men's all-time record of 20 Grand Slam titles. So he's already ahead of McEnroe, Bjorn Borg, Agassi, all the guys that played years ago, Arthur Ashe. He's already passed all of those guys. Djokovic, on his Grand Slam titles, was quoted saying, "I'm not chasing. I'm making my own path." He said, "I'm not chasing anybody." And he's really just lost 1 set in 5 matches over the last 10 days in Wimbledon. And so he said, again, I'm making my own path, my own journey, my own history. I'm privileged to be part of history of this sport that I love. And he really is going to be the greatest player of all time when it's all said and done. Just at 34 years old, the Serbian is just riding an unbelievable win streak. He's also won 2 Grand Slams already this year. The Australian Open in February and Roland Garros, the French Open, where he defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas last month in an incredible match where he came back from 2 sets to love and ended up winning 3 straight to win the French Open. He also was quoted saying, "Overall, I feel like I've been hitting the ball well throughout the entire tournament, putting myself exactly where I want to be into the finals, and not spending too much energy. Now I just have to be consistent from the first point to the last point in the next match on Sunday." And Djokovic has just been so unbelievable. And for me, I like the way he plays because he doesn't give up on any points. He has the athleticism and the speed to chase down all the balls across all the court, but he goes for winners. You know, you're going to see him make mistakes, but you're also going to see him hit shots that are just unreturnable. They're called flat-out winners in tennis, and he does that more than pretty much anyone, I would say, maybe behind Rafa Nadal, because Nadal, with his lefty swing, is able to hit angles that nobody else can. But this is just such a huge thing for Djokovic and for his career, because if he can steal this one without having to play against Nadal or Federer, it's just going to be so much better for his career and overall record. And so he's been playing so well this tournament. It's got so many eyes, and people are saying, you know what? Not only is he going to win this tournament, but then he's going to steal the record and become the greatest tennis player of all time, winning his 21st Grand Slam. Where? On American soil, in the U.S. Open up in New York, come later this summer. So I'm looking forward to that match tomorrow. Berrettini's played well throughout this tournament, but I don't think there's any way that he can keep up with Djokovic. I got Djokovic probably winning in 4 sets. If Berrettini can get off to a hot start and maybe get Novak on his back foot, he could probably send it to 5 sets, if that, but I don't think there's any way he defeats Djokovic, who's just playing incredible tennis right now. He's limiting his errors, and he's going for it on all ends of the court. He also does such a good job returning serves. Like that is a huge part of his game that people don't really talk about, is he can go up against the best servers in all of tennis, and he can slap it back to you even harder than you hit it to him. He's just so talented at that. He's able to do it with his forehand and his backhand. He's been doing this kind of like jumping backhand style recently, and it's been so strong, and he's just limited his errors and his mistakes. And that's why I think Djokovic, when you just talk about who's more fun to watch between Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, I would say Djokovic. Federer is my favorite because he's so calm and just nonchalant out there. Like, he has this slice backhand. It looks like, he's playing the violin. It's just so smooth. It's the same exact stroke every single time, and he barely ever misses it. And Nadal hits his angles, and the fact that he's a lefty and he's so quick, and really he's just so quick, so strong with his forehand, but he lacks the backhand. Djokovic, though, just has the offense completely. He has the defense. He has the forehand and the backhand. He could be defending, running all around the court, and then quickly he can turn from offense to defense just like that and slap a winner cross court that you can't return. The only thing that Djokovic might struggle with in his game, a small weak spot in his game, is his overhead volleys. But when you think about it, when you get into the situation that you're doing an overhead volley, it means you got the guy halfway off the court anyway. So basically all you have to do is just keep it in play. Maybe he doesn't hit enough winners with that, but he's always keeping it in play and extending the point, and I like his chances. So I think Djokovic will win tomorrow, and then I think it's going to be interesting what happens in the U.S. Open. If Nadal is healthy, if Federer is healthy, if maybe one of the young guys like Medvedev or Zverev, maybe the American John Isner can make a run, but I doubt it. I think I'll be on the air here late August or September after the U.S. Open talking again about Djokovic being the greatest tennis player of all time. I hope you enjoyed this tennis segment. If you did, you can hit me up on Twitter at AWOD Radio. Adam Epstein here till 3:35. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Erin Ryan, political commentator, comedy writer, and host of Crooked Media's Hysteria.
And I'm co-host Alyssa Mastromonaco, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for President Obama.
Each week on Hysteria, we are joined by a team of hilariously opinionated ladies to discuss the headlines from the serious to the absurd.
We cover everything from reproductive rights to rom-coms and break down the political news of the week and cultural stories that affect women's lives.
New episodes of Hysteria drop every Thursday. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
How is your mental health? Billie Eilish, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Imagine Dragons, Lil Nas X, and so many more feel the same pressures we do. They're joining our host, Carson Daly, for I'm Listening, September 23rd, starting at 6 p.m. right here. Carson and a cast of mental health experts, athletes, musicians, other notables, and you will share stories, insights, and help us all remember that we are not alone. Please join us, because talking about our mental health has the power to save lives. For more, visit imlistening.org.